Hello, everyone. Let's tap into episode 36. This episode is all about timing. You know, we've heard the saying before, timing is everything. I do believe that in most cases. So I want to talk about timing in relationships. Now, not the timing of getting into a relationship, meaning, making sure that you're meeting the person at the right time of your life. I'm talking about once you're in a relationship, all of the timing that we need to pay attention to be successful in that space. So this is not just about, when I talk about relationships, it's never just about your loving relationship or your intimate relationships. It is about friendships, work relationships, associate relationships, like relationships, period. When two people are coming together or a group of people trying to figure that shit out. But I'm going to focus first on, example-wise, focus on our loving and intimate relationships. Because timing is, I'm sharing what I learned like in real time. Timing is such a thing in that, even in my current relationship, my forever relationship, we are where we need to be. We are in the right place, right time. Everything I feel like everything fell into place as it should be. However, we are still two people. Even though we're a partnership and we're a unit, we're still two separate people working on ourselves as we should, evolving spiritually, mentally, emotionally in life, and at the same time having a relationship. So I'll tell you what I used to think, or I'm learning about is, you can have these long conversations. I'm sure we've all been there with someone, the person we love. And, when we talk about it, everything we talk about can be, is in the best light, where we want to be, what we should be doing, how we want to treat each other, how we want to handle disagreements and problems, and how we want to move forward with goals, all of that. It's all sounds good in theory and when you're talking. However, in real time, in real life, things don't always go as planned. I did another, I don't remember the episode number, but I did an episode about just search in a perfect world. A lot of times we speak in a perfect world. We think in a perfect world, just how things should be and where we want them to be, both personally, like internally and externally. So in a relationship, you talk about all these things. It's like, yes, not only are we reading the same book, we're on the same page, we're reading the same line. We know what we need to be doing individually to come together. We know what we need to do when we are together. Again, in real time, it doesn't always play out that way. And what I've learned and what I'm continuing to learn is that we all have our own timing, right? We know that we all have our own journey. And sometimes we forget about how our journey plays out, or how our personal journey matches up in a relationship. And I'll tell you something, it's not going to be perfect. I tell myself this all the time. This is my mantra when I'm trying so hard to make things, just anything in life, go perfectly, because that's our nature. I'm like, only Jesus was perfect. I'm going to always strive for my version of perfection, but I also have to be realistic in understanding that things are not always going to be perfect. So what do I mean by that? I would say this talk is all about having grace, which is like, I'm in a period of grace right now, learning grace for myself and being able to give others grace. And I feel like grace is best applied when you can understand timing. We understand our timing inherently because, we know where our thoughts are. We know what we're working on, what we're struggling on working on, what we're really getting good at. And just because that's our meter of how we're moving along, right, in our own personal journey and where we want to be, who we want to be, hopefully we're moving in that direction. That is not always the same timing, the same evolution, and the same speed as your partner. So let's use an example. Every couple, just in life, period, we all want to be, I don't know if we all want to be, but it behooves us to be better communicators, right? So that's usually a goal in a healthy relationship. Maybe some people have it mastered. A lot of us are a work in progress. So we're like, what? We need to communicate better, particularly when it's, when we've hit a bump in the road. Okay. And I may be along my journey saying, being able to apply okay, when something bothers me, I'm going to pause, I'm going to think about it, I'm going to give it some time, and then I'm going to write down my thoughts, and then I'm going to, present it to my partner or put time aside for my partner and I to talk. Now, even though that may be the goal for both of us, maybe my partner is not there yet. Maybe my man, maybe your woman is just not there yet where they can come out of whatever their default is or whatever they're emotionally feeling. Maybe they haven't reached the point where they can just apply where they want to be as quickly as you can, or vice versa. I mean, communication is the biggest thing, I feel like, in most relationships. And it's where so much gets lost, right? Like lost in translation. The way we say things, how we say them, when we say them. Everything, body language, and that's when grace comes into play. That's when timing comes into play, because even if someone is, like, worst case scenario, you're ready to talk, you're calm, you're communicating, and your partner is just not there. They're still yelling, they're still screaming, they're still giving you the cold shoulder, they're still not really listening to you. You're saying something and they're talking over you. That doesn't mean that all is lost, right? That doesn't mean that what you have previously discussed or what you're hoping for or what you guys are working for, it doesn't mean that you'll never get there. It just means that maybe they're not there yet. Or maybe you're the person that is not there yet. You're continuously getting that, you're the one that's getting the complaints like, hey, you said you were going to do this. You said it was going to be like this, but you're still not showing up the way I need you to, right? That's when we apply grace. That's when we really stop and think about timing. Like, hey, this is where I want to be, but I'm not quite there yet. That doesn't mean that I'll never get there. That doesn't mean that the other person will never get there. That means that their timing along their journey is different than yours. It's always going to be different than yours, no matter what. There's going to be times when, one person in their journey is moving faster. The other person is moving slower. Things are going to unfold according to someone's timing, according to someone's journey of how quickly they are moving and stepping in that moment. There may be times when you're standing still. I know that that's happened. Your partner is kind of at a standstill. Does that mean that they are not what I need them to be, or does that mean that they will actually never be what I need them to be? No, that means that they are still working on that part of their journey. Now, this of course under the assumption that there's two people that have a similar goal, right? They're trying to reach a certain goal. We're not talking about the relationships you need to throw away, like the ones that someone isn't having any kind of conversation with you at any time about where your relationship goals are together. So this is when you're reading the same book. You hope that you're reading the same page, but there's times it doesn't match up, and it's very frustrating. It actually can be more frustrating when you've talked about something with your partner. This is what we're going to do. And then all of a sudden they're not doing it. Or all of a sudden you're the one that's not doing it. You're not showing up. They're not showing up the way they need to in what you talked about. Again, that doesn't mean that it's never going to happen. It just means that we are all in our own journey, and we're going to trip on different things, right? You're going to need a rest at different times. Everything is not going to be perfectly timed. So just try to remember that. I mean, you can apply that to so many things in a relationship. It's not just communication. It's if someone isn't taking action in the way you need them to. I'm not saying make excuses for people. That's a whole other episode that I've already done. We're not talking about making excuses, but we're talking about being cognizant of the fact that if someone is not doing what you talked about, reaching those goals, those milestones, if someone is not showing up the way you need them to, and if maybe you're the one that's not showing up the way you need to for your person, whether that's in a family relationship that you're working on, or that's hitting a bump in the road, or a friendship, or even at work relationships. If you are that person, then talk to them about timing. Talk to them about where you are in your journey. Like, listen, I do want to be in this space of better communication with you. However, right now, I'm dealing with A, B, C, and D. It's not, hopefully it's not blocking you, but it is slowing me down a bit, but I know where I'm going. Give me grace. I will get there. My timing, I may not be where you're at, but I'm headed there. And apply that same notion, that same mindset to the other person that you're dealing with. Again, we're talking about positive relationships or relationships that you're moving into a positive space, that you want, that being in a healthy space is the most important thing. And what is that? Being in a healthy space, you need to apply grace and be mindful of timing. I hope that you can relate to this. I know some of y'all can. I love to hear the comments. Please let me know, what you're thinking. Let me know where you're at in your journey. I'm still a work in progress. So I know in some ways I am an absolute superstar. In other ways, I'm more like a backup dancer. But I have those important conversations with the people around me that I care about, that I value our relationships. I let them know where I'm at so they can understand my timing. Until next time, be peaceful.